Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday morning to find out all about the APPI Pilates Instructor certification. Very exciting to have you all join us and just get a little taster of what it would be like to join us on the course. And we'll also just chat about, experiences that you can go on to experience in the industry, different opportunities that will be available for you. But basically today we are going to run through a lot about just the training in general. Shauna, our wonderful educator from Queensland, is here with us today to run you through some APPI methods and a few exercises that we teach on the course. So really, really exciting to have Shauna with us. And for all of you joining today, just a little bit of housekeeping as well. So obviously this is a webinar, so you can see us, but we can't see you. If you do have any questions throughout, feel free to always pop them through the chat and we can definitely answer them for you as we go. We will have a little Q&A at the very end, so we can also run through questions then. But we'd love you all to stay on until the end of the session today, as we do have a special offer for you all. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And then just to introduce myself as well. So my name is Laura. I'm one of the course consultants here at Unite Health. If you have booked a time to chat previously, we may have already spoken on the phone. So it's always nice to put a face to the name. If not, and you are hoping to chat with us soon, it's most likely will be me on the other end, so we can dive a bit deeper into any questions that may not get covered today. But very, very exciting to have you all here with us and really looking forward to showing you guys what it's all like to come onto a course with us and join our amazing community. So we'll dive into a lot of those details throughout the presentation at the end as well. But for now, we can just get stuck straight in. So I'm going to hand it over to Shauna this morning. She's going to tell you all about her background and how she ended up working with Unite Health. And then we can dive straight into our course taster. So write any questions in, let us know how we can help. But thank you so much for joining us, Shauna, and very excited to have you here today. It's going to be so exciting to run through this session. So thank you again for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Laura. Awesome. Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. So as you know, my name's Shauna and I am working for Unite Health. I'm the Queensland presenter and I present the studio component, so the reformer after you've done your mat and your anatomy, the face-to-face stuff in Queensland, sunny Queensland, where it's been raining for the last 3 weeks probably. But yeah, I do all the face-to-face. So a bit of a background about me. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, as you can tell with the accent. It's always a bit weird whenever I go back home, everyone's like, you sound so Australian, and everyone's here is, where are you from? So it gets a bit confusing. But yes, originally from Zimbabwe, and I was very, very sporty. And with all my sports, particularly hockey, I used to play for Zimbabwe. I was always injured and always like sore and not moving properly. And my hockey coach was a physiotherapist. And I was like, wow, like she used to know so much about the body. She used to always make me get better quicker. And I was like, wow, I really love the body. I think I'm gonna go into something like that when I go to university. So anyway, long story short, still very sporty, left Zimbabwe, came to Australia for university. I ended up doing human movements because I was like, I know I just don't want to do a desk job. So that really started me in the industry where I just loved the body so much. I kind of wanted to work with that a little bit. Lo and behold, after I finished, I just went on the Pilates course. Wow, this is like amazing. And I got so much out of it. And like you probably all are wanting to find out the information today, I just got so much information out of the course about, I knew how to move. I knew how to do these movements. I'd done some Pilates, I'd done some reformer classes, I'd done some mat classes, but learning about it and how to teach it and why we did the movements and all that really stuck with me. And that was it. So I kind of now just really do Pilates. My husband is an osteopath, and so we have our own clinic here in Queensland. And obviously he does all the hands-on treatment. He's fantastic. And then I do all the Pilates afterwards. It's generally clinical. So, you know, injuries, car accidents, all that sort of stuff. And I have 2 small children, so I just do part-time. So I do some of that from home, some of it from the clinic. And then I sort of landed my bum in the butter with Unite Health. I love it to teach the APPI studio courses here in Queensland. So this is now well into my 3rd year, and I have found the passion of educating. I absolutely love the educating. And I think it comes back to when I did the courses, how I got so much out of it. And so I now obviously work for Unite Health as well and educate it. I'll just give you a little bit of a background about what you do on the courses. So where you would come in and you'd online, you do the anatomy and the mat, and it's fantastic. And then you come and you do the face-to-face stuff. Now, one of my favorite things about the face-to-face stuff is that you get to meet all your peers and you'll chat, and it's on the first weekend, which is actually weekend 4, or your first face-to-face, which is weekend 4. And you chat and you meet all your peers, and you get so much out of it. And again, like I said, you know the movement. Some of you, even if you haven't done Pilates, you know how to do a movement. But when you come to these courses, we teach you really in depth about why you do those movements, how you do those movements, what muscles are working. And you just see students like brains light up like, wow, this is amazing. And then they talk to each other, and then they try it on each other, and then they learn to cue on each other. And I guess us as educators, our goal and our job is to get you to be able to do that and be confident to be able to teach a big class. So on the first weekend, you can just see they're like deer in headlights, like, oh my goodness, I've learned so much exercises. Like there's so much going on. And then on weekend 2, face-to-face, we get them to teach a class, and just a small class, and they're all so nervous. And you just think they get up and they just teach this class to their peers, and that's on day 4. And you just see the education, the APPI methods, they really get it, the way we teach it, the way it's presented. All the educators throughout Australia and overseas are just fantastic. What you get out of it is just amazing. I must admit, as a studio owner, as a clinic owner, if someone has done APPI Pilates, I very much look at that resume, get them in for a thing, because I know they have done a really good course. And you know, it's not just a weekend thing. They've done a lot. They've really learned the anatomy. They've really learned some mat work exercises. They've really learned reformer, clinical, whatever they do. It really is a fantastic, fantastic course there. I also am an examiner. So I examine everybody after they've finished their course and they've learned to write programs, they've learned to teach, and basically they have to do their practical exam before we give them the certificate to go out into the teaching world. And that's just really fantastic to see. For example, Wednesday last week, I did back-to-back 6 hours. And my first student that I examined, I was like, wow, she is amazing. That is just incredible. And Riley was her educator. And so, yes, I do Queensland, but, you know, I'm examining people from Victoria, New South Wales, ACT, WA, all over the place. And it's just really interesting and lovely to see, like, whoever I examine, the caliber is just absolutely next level. You can just see wherever they're educated around the country or anywhere, the caliber of coming out of this course is fantastic. It can take you worldwide. You can work anywhere, work in clinics, work in a studio. It really is just a nice, fast-growing industry to take you there. Now, what I thought we could do today is I could just teach you a little bit about what we start off with in our anatomy and our mat work, and just take you through a couple of mat work exercises today, just so that you get a feel of a few of the things we do, the way we teach it, how it goes about, and that you just get a little taster of what we do and how we teach it. With Unite Health, the APPI method, what we do is we really sequence stuff up. So we do stuff in different levels. The way I like to explain it is someone could be a beginner here on A, And the exercise that we want to get them to here is Z. But we can't get through J and K. We've got to get through there, to get to that Z exercise. And that's what's great about the APPI method, is that we level it up and we sequence it. So when you start to learn some mat exercises, we will teach them in levels so that the body gets aware and the movement of the body gets aware to get up to those bigger exercises. Joseph Pilates was quite elaborate and quite big in his movements. And so obviously with the modern day body, we don't quite get to there straight away. So we'd want to start, on level 1, work to level 2, work all the way up to level 5. And that's how we teach stuff. Even with our mat work, coming into reformer, I'll say, oh, you've done clams and mat work. Do you remember that? Now this is side plie on the reformer. So it all just comes back to movements and how we teach them and how you can add in variations as well along the way. When we talk about doing any of our exercises, we really talk about being safe. And this is one of the APPI things that we are quite determined on. How can we be safe? Obviously, we want to teach you so that you can move your body really well, but how can you be safe? How are you going to do that? And how we teach you is how you get there. So we talk about the 5 key elements, and basically that is teaching you to get the body into what we call a neutral spine in a rest position. And it's a nice, safe way for the spine to be. Most of us are hunched forwards like this on computers and studying all day. So we're really just trying to get the body into a nice, safe position to start off with. But we work through 5 key elements, and those 5 key elements are breathing, centering, rib cage placement, shoulder blade placement, and your head and neck placement. And so before you even start, we will talk you through all of that and teach you through all of that about how we go about all of those to then do our exercises. So I have specifically chosen 2 standing exercises today to teach you. I have chosen these because we can stand. So if you have a chance, I invite you to do these exercises with me. I'll talk you through the 5 key elements and then do a couple of exercises, give you some little movement and some little stretch. I've chosen these exercises because most of us sit all day. The majority of us sit all day, some of us don't, but we're over computers, we're studying, we're breastfeeding, we're holding kids, we're driving, and not a lot of us are standing and moving a lot of the day, unless we go out for our nightly or morning walk or walk the dog. Not a lot of us do that. So I've just chosen 2 exercises to get us up and start us moving throughout the day. So if you can, have a stand up, and I will take you through some of these exercises that we teach in APPI and how we go about them. If you can't, absolutely fine. Maybe you can just have this recording and then do them at home later. Okay, so I'm going to come back here. Hopefully you can still all see me. I might just move my camera just a smidgen so that you can see me. Yep, that's good. Okay, and I'm going to take my glasses off. So talking about the 5 key elements first. So when we talk about breathing, a lot of us breathe into our bellies, and I know in yoga they do that as well. So we really breathe into our tummy and we let that breath go back out. But in APPI, what we talk you through with the breathing is, and if you can, all of you, put your hands just underneath your breastbone or your pecs there, and splay your hands out nice and wide, or your fingers nice and wide on your rib cage. And we try to get you to think about, imagine you've got a balloon and your ribs are expanding out to the side and back in. We're really trying to inflate the lungs and get that diaphragm moving with our breath. So putting your hands here, let's just close our eyes, keeping the shoulders nice and soft. I want you to think about, as you breathe in, we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you breathe in, I want you to try and get that breath in so it comes into the side of the rib cage there, into the hands. And then as you breathe out, just through pursed lips, we're just going to soften that breath back out again. Let's do a couple more with our eyes closed. So taking a deep breath in, letting the ribs expand out to the side, filling those lungs, and as we exhale, just letting that all go out. And let's take one more deep breath into the side and breathing back out. So a lot of us don't breathe very well on a daily basis. We either tummy breathe, we shallow breathe, but we really talk about getting that breathing and incorporating that breathing into every movement that we do. And by that, we're just trying to get the rib cage to expand, getting that body to move, and then just softening that breath back up. We breathe in through our nose and we breathe out through pursed lips. So we're not going, we're just taking that nice, slow, gentle breath in and then breathing back out. That's our first key element. Our second key element that we talk to you about is centering. Now, centering is basically how we get the deep core abdominal muscles, the pelvic floor, the back muscles. How do they all work in unison? And when you come on the courses, we will give you multiple ways of trying to explain this. You'll learn the anatomy of where, the abdominals sit and the back muscles sit and how they all engage together. There's many cues and lots of things work for a lot of people, but one of the best ones is, imagine you've got like a belt around your hips, nice and low around your hips, or you've got a nice pair of tight jeans, and you want to sort of just gently draw your tummy away from those trousers or those jeans if you can. Not sucking it in too much. I don't know if you've gone to a Pilates course and they're like, suck in your tummy. We just like really gently drawing that tummy in away from the trousers and then letting that go. Now try and do that with your breath. So we're inhaling as we expand the rib cage out, drawing the belly button in towards the spine would be another cue, or drawing yourself away from that trousers, the low tummy away from the trousers, and then letting that go again. And we will talk you more through centering. I don't know, again, how many classes you go to and the instructor says, inhale to prepare. And what does that mean? What is inhale to prepare? What are we preparing? And we teach you that. We teach you, probably not to say inhale to prepare, but what are you preparing? How are you drawing in the low abdominals? How are you getting the body to move? How are you getting into a nice, safe position? Okay. Then that now brings us to our rib cage position. So if I stand side on to you here, a lot of us even in a standing position, so we can do this lying down, we can do it sitting, we can do it kneeling, we can do it in a 4-point kneel. Any position you are in, we teach you to get into the safe, neutral rest position to start the movement. With your rib cages, again, everybody's rib cages are very different. We all have different bodies, but generally a nice way of thinking about the rib cage is really just softening the breastbone, or thinking about drawing the rib cage down towards the hips as if they're gliding down towards the hips. So a lot of us, tend to stick our ribs out and we're too overextended, or we are really forwards typing all day and they are just a little bit too rounded. And where they actually sit on the spine is very, very particular of where they should be. And they should be, more upright, but just softening down towards the hips here. So if you can all just, even in your standing or sitting position, just take a few deep breaths. And as you exhale, just thinking about softening those ribs back down towards the hips. At the same time, the shoulder blades and the chest will be nice and open. That's a really good way of thinking about the rib cage positioning or the rib cage placement there. That brings us to our fourth key element, which is your shoulders. Now, shoulders are the bane of most people's existence, to tell you the truth. We do so much with our shoulders on a daily basis, picking up kids, hanging up washing, getting stuff from a cupboard, picking up grocery bags, putting kids in and out the car, working, studying, all that sort of stuff. And if they're not sitting around the rib cage and on the spine properly, they tend to get very overloaded, and then the neck starts to get issues and you start to get back pain. The shoulders are really important to learn to place properly on the spine. And we go into this in quite a lot of detail on the APPI courses. But a really nice way of thinking it is some people are so far forwards, most people are so far forwards. We want to just really think about gently drawing the shoulder blades back and down your back. IQ, imagine pulling your shoulder blades down to the opposite pocket of your trousers. So the left one will go down towards your right pocket, and the right one will go down towards your left pocket. Simultaneously, the collarbone becomes a nice big smile because we've opened up the chest just that little bit more, just by purely putting the shoulder blades in the right position on the spine and around the rib cage. Then that brings us to head and neck. And remember, we teach you this all in great detail when you get there. When we get to the head and the neck, again, most of us really sit far forwards from working and studying. And what we want to do is we want to try and bring that neck back over the rest of the spine. So the way I cue that is, just gently drawing the chin back towards the spine there, or in towards there. And imagine you've got a little soft peach underneath your chin and between your chin and your chest. And you just want to gently hold that soft peach there the whole time. So we're not tucking it in too low and it's not lifting up too much. And that's what we call the 5 key elements. So even in a standing position, we'd think about our breathing. How are we going to work our breathing? Our centering. Is our deep abdominals corset engaged? Are our rib cage in the right position? Is our shoulder blades in the right position? Is our head and neck in the right and safe position there? So talking about those 5 key elements, I'm going to bring you into what we call Cleopatra through something called dumb waiter. So those are 2 of our APPI exercises. And I've specifically chosen them today because they get the shoulder blades or within the shoulder joint moving, but it's also standing and makes you just a bit aware of your posture. Again, we do a lot of movements and a lot of us move our arms, but how do we do it? How do we do it correctly? And that's our job and what we really go into on these courses to show you. So if you're standing there facing me, what I would like you to do is bring your hands up to basically elbow height. So you're sort of at like a right angle. Then I want you to scan your body. So look down towards your feet. Are your feet and toes facing forwards? And are they hip width apart? A really good way is to get your fist and just pop it in between your knees, in between your feet. And it's probably a little bit wider than your fists on either side. That's generally hip width apart, okay? Most people have their toes facing out, so make sure that your toes are facing forwards and bring your awareness to your pelvis. So with your pelvis comes your centering. So imagine your hip bones in a standing position have flashlights, and those flashlights are facing forwards. If my flashlights are too far down and I'm sticking out too far, my flashlights are facing down towards the ground. If I tilt my pelvis this way, they're flashing up towards the ceiling. So these are what we call pelvic rocks. And we sort of want to get those flashlights on your 2 hip bones facing forwards. So feet hip width apart, you're facing forwards. From here, concentrating on that, getting that rib cage nice and soft, drawing those shoulder blades back and down and getting that neck into a nice position there. Putting your hands up, face up towards the ceiling or wherever you are. From there, I want you to imagine you've got $200 notes, one in between this elbow and chest and one in between this elbow and waist, okay? From there, we're going to open up the arms. This is what we call dumb waiter, and I love this name because he is a little bit of a dumb waiter opening up like this. We're going to try not spill those drinks as we open up to the side and come back. As we do this, I want you to focus on your shoulder blades. Now, if our shoulder blades are set in the correct position, as we open the arms up to the side, we want to watch that they don't squeeze back anymore. So we're really focusing on keeping the shoulder blade placement nice and still as we open up. So again, when you come to the APPI stuff, we will teach you what's happening in the shoulder joint here. Why are we doing this? What muscles are working? It really becomes not just an exercise, but how you break it down and how you learn how to teach it. From here, we're going to go into what we call Cleopatra. So Taking a deep breath in, we want to really get those ribs expanded out to the side. As we exhale, we're going to open the arms out to the side, keeping those palms facing up, those shoulders nice and still. We're going to extend the arms out to the side. At the same time, we're going to rotate the hands down towards the ground, but try not lose your shoulders coming forward. So it's just the arms moving. Turning the palms back up towards the ceiling, drawing the elbows in towards the side, and coming back in. Let's do 2 more. Exhale as we go out to the side through pursed lips, extending those arms out, holding those shoulders nice and still. At the same time, rotate those palms facing down, coming back up towards the ceiling, shoulders nice and still, rib cage in, coming back into the side and in. This time, focus on what your ribs are doing. As you extend those arms out, are those ribs staying nice and soft, or are they following the movement and coming with you? We want them to stay nice and soft, drawing down towards the hips. And that's what we call dumbwaiter and Cleopatra. Again, may seem like you're just doing a little bit of movement, but what's happening in all of those is what we'll teach you. While we're here, we'll do one last exercise, and this is what we call mermaid and standing. Again, most of you, if you've done reformer, mat, any exercise, lots of people have done reformer, mermaid. You can do it in sitting, kneeling, standing, but this one's in standing because we're standing already, and we're just giving you a nice little stretch through the spine into lateral flexion. So from here, again, from your toes, looking if your feet are in the right position, holding that pelvis so that the lights are facing forwards, softening that rib cage down towards the hips, gently drawing those shoulder blades back in together and watching that neck's in the right position. From here, we're going to bend the knees and bend the hips just a little bit, keeping them nice and loose. Make sure the lights are still facing forwards. With your left arm, I want you to bring that arm up the side of your ribs. You're going to extend that arm up towards the ceiling and make your head look at that arm. From here, we normally do this at the same time, but to break it down, we're going to push the right arm down the right side towards the knee. Keep looking up at that arm, and you should be getting that nice stretch up through that left-hand side. From there, we're going to draw that left arm back down and come back up to center. Bending those knees, making sure the shoulders are there. Let's do the other side. We're going to draw the right arm up at the same time. This time, let's go over to the side, extending that arm out. Take a deep breath and reach that arm further up towards the ceiling. And then from there, coming back down. Let's just do 2 more to finish off with, and that'll be nice and stretched. From there, drawing that left arm up, start to follow that arm up towards the ceiling. Pushing that right arm, the fingertips down towards the knee. Should be getting that really lovely stretch. Still focus on your hip position, your shoulder position, and drawing that arm back down. 1 more. As we come up, moving that arm up, stretching, reaching. Take a nice last deep breath in here, right into the side of the rib cage. I love getting my students to do this one to learn on their lateral breathing, and drawing that arm back out. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of movement. I've done a few shoulder stuff, and I've also moved you up. I mean, bear in mind, you do a lot more than this, but that's just a little taster of how we present and how we explain stuff and what goes on in our APPI courses. We really bring you back to the fundamentals, getting you nice and safe, and going from there, and then teaching you a lot of exercises. So you have quite a broad knowledge when you have finished the courses with us. Back to you, Laura.
Thank you so much, Shauna. I was doing the exercises along with you, and I already feel so much better in my shoulders, ready for it.
Great, well done.
But hopefully you guys all really enjoyed that session. Obviously just a really, really small snapshot of what we cover on the course. But we will definitely dive in now just to a few more details about the course itself, what's covered, what's included for you as well. So I'll run through this presentation, and then any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat for us. But I suppose to get started, APPI, as Shauna mentioned, we are a Pilates education provider that's been around in the industry for more than 20 years. So the fact that Pilates only really took off, massively about 4 years ago, it really says something about the methods and the education that we do teach. Alongside being, KX Pilates preferred teacher training provider, we have many other studios that prefer to hire APPI instructors. And your qualification is internationally recognised. So we teach students from all over the world, particularly, some may even come to Melbourne for a fast track intensive from overseas, which is really exciting. But it means that you can take your certification with you anywhere you move to. So, and be able to work anywhere as well. A question I get asked a lot is, do I need to have a certain level of fitness? What if I'm recovering from an injury and I'm not sort of able to complete everything? Look, this is a no prerequisites course. So we don't mind how many classes you've done or what your current situation is. The fact that you'll be learning on the course with us these amazing, safe and effective methods. But our course educators also have allied health backgrounds. So if you are someone that maybe has an injury, has something going on that you need some assistance with, or even just if you're the regular general person, you feel really supported on the course days with our educators like Shauna, who have that experience and can really teach you how to help yourself, but also how to manage anyone that could walk through the doors of your class one day. So that skill set is really important, and we really sort of break that down, like the levels Shauna just showed us, to make it applicable for everyone. So really inclusive, the type of methods that we teach. And you'll be 100% ready to go when you do finish your course with us. It's a really great thing to be able to come through the training and know at the end of it, you can then start working and teaching in the industry immediately. So we really do sort of structure the course in a way to set you up for success. So that's really, really possible for you to then get work and be working, pretty much straight away. A lot of our students actually come into their assessments with jobs already lined up, which is amazing. So that's just a brief little overview there. A day on the course. So you might have often wondered, what would it look like? So every day of our training, we start the day with a Pilates class delivered from the educator. There are really easy to understand anatomy workshops included alongside your mat work training days. And you will learn all mat work and reformer exercises. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You'll learn how to structure your classes one-on-ones, small groups, larger groups, which is a part of the training as well. And we do also include small equipment and the reformer jump board. So you can teach in those environments as well and spice up your classes, adding, dumbbells or ankle weights or the circle or the small ball. So you'll learn everything included there too. Another thing we touch on, obviously we say we're going to prepare you to be 100% industry ready. So we actually cover that on the course as well. So what the pathways and opportunities will be like for you as a new instructor in the industry, how to network and market yourself as a new instructor, gaining employment, getting insurance, what it looks like to open your own business or your own Pilates studio one day as well. So we really cover everything for you in the training, so you can take what applies to you and then make those next steps once you finish the training with us. So that's all really exciting as well. You'll be able to learn about all the different opportunities that are available for you. Now, we have a few different delivery options available all over Australia. So we teach in Perth, Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, and generally that would be our part-time option that's available everywhere. This one here, it's about roughly 1 weekend of training per month. So it's perfect if you're working full-time or you're just not available on the weekdays, or maybe you're just not in a rush to get the course completed. You'd have weekends 1, 2, and 3 online via Zoom. That would be your first 6 days of the course, which is mat work and anatomy. And then we do your final 4 weekends with us in person on the reformers, where you can learn that practical element and build your confidence up. We also offer a 3-week fast track option in Melbourne. This one is super popular. You basically get all 14 days delivered in person with us, and that's delivered all on the weekdays. So if you're open to traveling to Melbourne or you're based here already and have the time, this is a really great speedy option to get your course days completed. Another option we offer in Victoria and New South Wales is our hybrid intake. So this is pretty much a blend of the two of those courses I just mentioned. 3 weekends online via Zoom, same as our part-time. And then you would join us for an 8-day Reformer intensive, which would be a Monday to Friday and then a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just to finish off the course a little bit faster. If none of those options work for you, we actually have a 100% online, fully self-paced course that you can start immediately upon enrolling and work through the modules just around your busy schedules. Or if you maybe live in a more regional area, you've got access to a reformer, that's a great option to go with as well. So get in touch if you want to chat further about any of those course intakes. We sort of already covered this a little bit, but one thing here I will talk about is your certification logbook hours. It's very straightforward to be getting these hours completed. We sort of structure them in a way that's not going to put you out, and it's going to be something that's actually really worthwhile doing alongside your course days. So we have 3 components here: your observation hours, your self-practice hours, and your practice teaching hours. The observation hours will actually provide you with 20 online classes. You can sit back and watch from home in your spare time. You can use any other online classes you have access to, or even chat to your local studio about potentially doing some of those in person. Your self-practice hours is just logging in your personal self-practice. So any weekly classes you're going to, from the day you enroll into the course onwards, you can be logging in your personal self-practice, either at a studio or maybe you do some classes at home or a mixture of both. Then finally, once the course starts, you can then start your practice teaching hours, which is simply just done onto your family and friends around you at home. So nothing really crazy. It's all really straightforward, and they are there for you to use that as an opportunity to put into practice what you have been learning on the course with us. And then you can come back to your next course day with any questions or things you would like to get clarified. Then finally, once your logbook hours are done, you've done your 14 days of training with us, you will come through to sit your certification exam. There are 2 parts. So the first part is your online theory component. It's an open book assessment. So you'll just do that from home and you can have your course manuals in front of you. So one less thing to worry about. And then you'll have your practical. So you'll book a time in at the studio when it suits you. These are all booked in by our students when they're feeling ready. And you'll come through and teach a mat and reformer class onto just one person of your choice. And then you'll be spot checked on a few exercises there as well. You just need to hit 70% or over on both of those to pass. So it's really, really achievable. And then you get your certification and you're off and ready to go and start working and teaching in the industry. Now, I did mention earlier at the start of today's session that you would be entitled to a special offer. So for those of you that have attended today, we'd love to extend out our $200 discount code on that upfront payment. Now, this will be available for you guys until Sunday, 5 p.m. So the voucher code there, Taste of Feb 24, is just in pink. Feel free to write it down. And you can just apply that at checkout to reduce your course fees. So if it's something you've been thinking about doing for a little while, you know, it's always great to save where you can. So definitely make the most of that one and book in by Sunday to secure your spot and also receive the discount. This year has been crazy busy. We have so much going on. So the intakes are booking out faster than ever. So if you have a certain date you'd like to start, get in touch with us and we can chat through what option may be best suited for you. So I'd love to open up now to questions. If anyone has anything they'd like to chat through with myself about the course, or with our wonderful educator, Shauna, if there's anything, pressing on your mind that you're not really 100% on just yet, do please send that through for us either on the Q&A or through the chat and we can get those answered for you. But we do really want to thank everyone for attending today, and I hope you found that really, really informative. And just to, obviously, again, it's such a small snippet, you know, that was 15, 20 minutes of learning our fundamentals and 1 or 2 exercises there. So obviously on the course days, we have full course days. They run from 9 to 5. And so you learn so much in these days. And that's why it's really nice to walk away from them, put that into practice with your logbook hours, and then you can come back in and, you know, ask any questions. We can learn more repertoire and send you away even more confident after each time we see you. So it's structured in that way to set you up for success and ensure we cover absolutely everything, and you're feeling really confident with that as well. But yeah, so exciting. Thank you so much for your comment there. I'm really glad that that covered a lot for you today. And yeah, we'll definitely hang around for the next few minutes if anyone has any questions. So let us know. If not, keep an eye out on your emails. We will be sending through your discount code as well, just so that you've got it there if you didn't manage to write it down. And also, if you'd like to chat further, feel free to book a time to chat with us through the website. That will come through directly to me. I'll give you a buzz and we can go over any final questions. We'll talk about some different start dates that could be available. Perfect. Anything to add, Shauna?
No, that was great. Thank you. No, very good. Very informative. I love seeing that slide too, actually.
Yeah, it's good when you sort of break it down and look at
That's how we teach it. It's great.
Perfect. Well, it seems like we've covered everyone's questions. I can't see any coming through. I think that's the first time that's happened. So very, very good that we've covered everything for you guys today. I'll hang around for a couple of minutes if there's anything that comes up. But thank you so much again, Shauna. You were just amazing. We love having you on board with Unite Health. And yeah, if anyone is up in Brisbane, Shauna would be your educator for your Reformer weekends. So you'll get to meet in person and learn all of her amazing techniques.
Thank you, Laura. That was awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome. Thanks, everyone.